Hey guys, it's the Connect, and I wanted to do a quick little update video on the Brute so far. Just talk about a bit about what my experience has been since the last one, things that have changed, and things I'm considering changing going forward. And also talk a bit about a new Spectre that was discovered a few days back that will likely get disabled at some point. So if you do choose to use that Spectre, keep that in mind. But it is a very, very good Spectre, support Spectre, and it elevated my Brute experience massively. So we're going to be talking about all those things. So starting off, I want to go over the haste Spectre, get that out of the way before going into other nitty-gritties for those that are just here for the Spectres. The Spectre in question is called Flesh Pierce, and it is a rare monster that comes from the interludes. And its notable feature is that it comes with a haste aura, and not a diluted one at that. It's a full-blown 25% increased movement speed, 25% increased attack cast speed aura, and this affects of you and of course your minions as well. Now it is a more expensive Spectre, going up in like spirit cost, so keep that in mind, but the value you get for just having this is well worth it. You can find these guys in the interludes, in interlude 2. If you exit town, the Kari Bazaar into the Kari Crossing, you will find the aura Spectres at the traveling merchants checkpoint. Now they are giant mosquitoes, and at least from my character, the witch, whenever they flew right into my screen, she was like squish squish, and then you hear the traveling merchant asking for help. So you can find them there. There are two of them. There's Flesh Pierce and there's Blood Gulp. You don't really care about Blood Gulp because Blood Gulp gives a pride aura, but a bad one. It's not, unlike Pure 1, it's not increased physical damage taken by the enemies. It is just generic increased global phase for allies, which is very bad for the spirit cost that comes with it. So we just completely ignore that guy. We only care about Flesh Pierce and his beautiful haste aura. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't already, do consider liking and subscribing, as it helps a lot with the algorithm and with our 2025 goal of getting 2,000 subs, after which I will be doing a face reveal on stream and here on YouTube. Then, since the last video, I have also added Unearth as a link I am using. This is just because Unearth ends up fulfilling a few roles, but a big one of why I'm using Unearth is I'm using Unearth with Bleed 4, and Bleed 4 makes the minions and the spell casts that you cast inflict incision, and what incision does is it just makes the enemy more likely to get bled. This means when with multiple sources, like multiple incision stacks, your other minions are just constantly adding bleed to him. Now the reason this is big is because bleed just counts as, in this game at least, it counts as an extra damage source, since it's based on the hit damage and not some weird and not some different formula like in PoE 1. So it literally is just extra damage per second, because now when your brutes hit, they can apply bleed versus not being able to apply it. I am also considering using Bleed 4 on skeletal warriors, just to make sure they cannot consume the incision stack. But because in this game ailment's chance is based on the damage done, most of the time it is going to be your brute inflicting the actual bleed. And of course, aside Unearth, we also have Overwhelming Presence, which I am still not using, and I don't think I am going to use, because they still just stun very efficiently, and I don't have them at 20% quality. And eventually I probably want to use Diala's Desire to give them some extra quality on that. I don't know that they will need Overwhelming Presence. Like, genuinely, it's in the final POB, I will probably drop Overwhelming Presence. Right now they just stun too efficiently, basically. However, if you do not have the gear needed to have like optimal damage on them, which I think most of my damage is coming from my skill tree, so it's going to be very hard to not have that. But maybe your minion numbers or something are low, and you're just not in at this spot where you can stun frequently. It is still an option that you should keep in mind. Essentially, just keep that in mind, and you might want to opt for a lower level aura just to keep the strength cost low and to make sure they don't go too far in the opposite direction. Besides that, my snipers are now geared up for applying armor shred with deadly poison, corrosion, and escalating poison. We still have the break armor equal to % of physical damage points. I am I don't know if I will consider dropping this or not. There's a universe where I do, just because the snipers break enough, but it's just nice to have the extra bit of armor break as you clear, I think. So that is why it's still there. I am considering not doing it. I will be making a final build guide, because I do have a POB. I just created a POB recently, so I'll be covering that in the next video, not this one. We have also picked up the Darkness and Throne belt. Now this belt is huge, but you need to specifically go for the one that is asking you to have a helmet. Do not go for a shield, do not go for boots, do not go for anything else. It has to be helmet. And you're looking for, if I remember correctly, it was about 84% if increase effect minimum to get the second most amount of reservation efficiency you can from the belt. You can go for like 2% extra reservation efficiency, but it's not worth the cost. Don't bother doing that. Just prioritize getting reservation efficiency and minimum of 2 charm slots. Reason you want 2 charm slots is because you get a free one from the act, so that it just equates to your 3 charm slots. So with 84+%, you're going to have 20% increased reservation efficiency. When combined with the 12% on your skill tree, means you can actually run gigantic following very easily and just get the free damage multi that is gigantic. And of course, the defensive bonuses to your minions as well is really, really nice. And while on the note of reservation efficiency, there's also Bones of Allure to consider. I personally do not like Bones of Allure. I still am not using it, and I do not plan on using it, but it is something that's available to you if you just really, really like minion count. I'm not a big fan of it because A, it takes your boot slots, B, it only caps out at 15% MS. C, it's also just giga expensive right now. And then I personally am of the opinion that in most builds you either want to go Darkness Enthroned or Bones of Allure, and Darkness Enthroned is just a better choice in that case, because belts are typically just stat sticks for minions with just like res sticks with like life, whereas your boots actually can have 30% MS, which is a very, very important stat to have in the slow pace of that is PoE2. That, and it's also a source of ES, which is just some nice added defensive bonuses as well. Next up, I want to talk a bit about what my upgrade pathing is going to be, because right now I do plan on making my upgrade. Currently I'm sitting with a +3 minion one that has 66 spirit. I will consider going for a +4. I just don't have the currency for that. My priority upgrade is replacing Enfolding Dawn, and this is going to be very important because this chest piece is really hurting my experience at this point, because it's a chest piece and it's only giving 30 ES. I need way more energy shield coming from it which would elevate my survivability by so much. Once I switch from to like a pair of rare chests with like really good ES, I can change my tree to actually get a bunch of energy shield recharge rate and faster start and all of that, and that would just feel really nice to have, defensively at least. So really, that is going to be my priority upgrade next. I'm hoping I don't lose too much spirit from there, so we're going to be crafting that on stream after this video goes live. So if you're curious to see how that's going to go or what steps I use, do stop by. Aside the chest, my pieces are really not that great. I only have +1 minion and spirit amulet, literally no other stats, so I need to work on my amulet. Once that is done, I'm going to be looking at my rings. This ring is woeful. It needs to go. Like, my gear is still very rough, but so far I have been able to clear tier 13 maps, tier 14. I'm trying to get to tier 15, 16, but like, I'm being gated by waystone drops at this point. But we're going to be pushing for that once I make that chest upgrade, maybe even before, depending on how much time I have before my stream. It will probably be after the chest upgrade. Then once all that is done, I need to look at my shield. My shield either is going to stay a shield or is going to become a focus. In the end game version, I am opting towards going for a focus because the ES from there is just really nice. But I also like the option of having a Prism Guardian for the extra spirit. I am currently still undecided on defense. They both have their advantages, they both have their disadvantages. With this focus, you're losing out on all the spirit you would get from Prism Guardian. You're losing out on block chance. Getting 25% block chance is really nice for survivability. But alternatively, if you go the focus route, you get a very healthy chunk of ES. Very healthy, and an extra rare piece that can have resistances and attributes to help with your requirements essentially. So I'm going to be weighing both of them. We'll see what I end up with on the final build video essentially. But just know those are the two considerations right now. That's pretty much covers all the changes I made to the build since the last video. I will of course leave the daily snapshot of my brutes in the description below. POB finally fixed the support gem thing, which was a big problem on my last update video. So now support gems should all be supported by POB, and now you should be able to properly follow my gem linkings in there. I will also be going for my next ascendancy probably after my chest upgrade, because that should provide a very healthy amount of energy shield to work with as well, which would again make the change to having more energy shield support on the tree more worth it. But yeah, 0.3 has been a blast for me personally. Brutes have performed way better than expectations, so I really can't complain on my league starter choice. I am going to probably be looking at some Spectre choices after I am done with the brutes, but I am still quite away from there, so we're just going to keep blasting with the brutes essentially. Let me know in the comment section below if you have tried the build and what your experience has been like so far, how brutes or just the infernalists in general has treated you if you're going infernalist or if you're going lich. Let me know how that's going as well. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them in the comment section below, or you can bring them to my stream where I will be live not long after this video goes up basically. If you haven't already, do consider liking and subscribing, as that helps out a lot. And with all that said, thank you for watching.